Welcome back, capital F football fans, to the O&O Sports YouTube channel. Today, we are looking at the last matchup of the first round of the 2024 college football playoff. It is the Tennessee Volunteers traveling to Columbus to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. It's going to be a great matchup. And as always, be sure to like and subscribe and follow us on our social medias for a chance to win $100 this Christmas. It's just a few days away. Get ready for that. But let's start with the tail of the tape for the Tennessee Volunteers. They are 10-2 this year with a 6-2 conference record. Their best wins on the year are Alabama, Florida, and Vanderbilt. They ranked 18th in total offense, 6th in total defense, 11th in strength of schedule, and they are 7th in the college football playoff rankings. And Todd has them in a similar range at 9th. Pretty solid numbers overall for the Volunteers, but for the Ohio State Buckeyes, they are also 10-2, 7-2 in conference, with their best wins being Penn State, Indiana, and Iowa. They're 30th in total offense, 1st in total defense, 9th in strength of schedule, 6th in the college football playoff rankings, and 3rd in Todd's overall rankings. A little bit better down the board for the Ohio State Buckeyes, but overall a very, very close matchup on paper. And with that, let's jump into our players to watch. Starting off with Tennessee on the offense, it's going to be the running back Dylan Sampson. He's been one of the best running backs in the country this year, easily the best running back in the SEC, like we predicted in the preseason. If Ashton Jeanty didn't exist, he'd have an argument for the best running back in the country, and he still does, frankly. He's had the highest production on the highest stage, and now he has the opportunity to do it again against what will probably be the best defense they face this year in the Ohio State Buckeyes, but we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves there. Sampson had 256 carries for 1,485 yards, 22 touchdowns, all of which lead the SEC, and he unsurprisingly wins SEC Offensive Player of the Year and gets named to the All-SEC First Team. Who else would have gotten it? Outstanding year for him and a great year for that defense as well, led by your defensive player to watch, the edge rusher James Pierce Jr., someone who we were also very high on in the preseason. Didn't quite meet our expectations, but still had a phenomenal season, going for 20 solo tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks, a pass defense, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Been a big backfield disruptor at times this year. He's put a heavy hand in the success of that unit overall. Probably a top 10 unit this year, and they're going to need to go all out against an Ohio State offense whose player to watch in this one is the quarterback Will Howard. Could have chosen a few people in this spot, in all honesty. They've got those two phenomenal backs. They've got Jeremiah Smith and Egbuka on the outside, but we're going with Will Howard because he's going to be attacking a Tennessee secondary that ranks in the 15 to 20 range for most of their passing defense statistics. Not bad, but definitely the worst of the two units on that side of the ball. This year though, Howard's had 72.3% completion percentage for over 2,800 yards, 27 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and a 172.1 passer efficiency rating, with 72 carries for an additional 131 yards and 7 touchdowns. Great numbers for him this year, a little high on the interceptions, but overall very efficient on the year, just like their defense. And man, who do we go with here? There's probably 4 or 5 guys who could be players to watch in this one, but we're gonna settle on the linebacker Cody Simon. He has been a difference maker all over that side of the ball this year. He's logged 31 solo tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 5 pass defenses, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Could have won a number of places there, like I said, but Simon's going to have to play an integral role in slowing down that Tennessee rushing attack. And with that being said, let's look at our keys to victory in this one, starting of course with the Tennessee Volunteers. Their first key to victory is going to be getting the quarterback Nico Iamaleava going early on in this one. Simple routes, quick reads, simple play design, quick passes, nothing too crazy. They just need him to get his arm going, because you're not going to be able to rely on Dylan Sampson to win you this game on his own like he has at times for you in this season. You need Nico to get in a groove early on in this one so that when it comes down to the important snaps late in this game, he's already feeling himself, he's confident, ready to lead a drive. You need that Nico here, but you also need to find a balance with Dylan Sampson as well. He's a home run running back, but he can hit you with those gut punches, which Tennessee will also need to get going early. Those 2, 3, 4 yard rushes early on in this one will turn into 6, 7, 8-yard rushes down the line, and eventually a big chunk play or touchdown even if you keep at it. But like we said, have to find a balance. This defense is stout. They're not going to let you run all over them. They're not going to let you pass all over them. Gonna have to work around this defense. It is stout at all levels, but yours is as well, which leads us to our last key to victory for the Volunteers, which is trusting your defense. The offense has been a little antsy at times this year, been a little too aggressive for your own good when they don't have to be. Ohio State's going to be able to drive on you. They're going to get chunk plays. They're going to play good defense, but you can do all those things back at them. You just can't get ahead of yourself here. Don't play as the underdog and you won't have to win like one. Simple as that. And with that, let's look at the keys to victory for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Their first key to victory here is going to be spreading the ball around. Let your guys work. They've got plenty of talent up front, in the backfield, and on the perimeter. And in our opinion, Ryan Day would be doing his team a disservice to focus too heavily on one aspect of this game. Let everybody touch the ball. Smith and Egbuka can be amazing threats for you outside, but they're even better when Henderson and Judkins get their touches and vice versa. And for all that to happen, you need to let Will Howard work in this one. We know he's been a bit iffy late in the season, especially that game versus Michigan a few weeks back, but we think that has a lot to do with the play calling. Once Ohio State gets into that enemy territory and gets into the red zone, they get a little too cute in our opinion. We'd like to see Ohio State let Howard work in those instances. Churn out a couple runs, obviously, but don't force a rollout. No reverse screens, just straight up dropbacks. Let him cook. And finally, the last key to victory for Ohio State will, of course, be containing Dylan Sampson. No team has been able to do it this year super effectively. Oklahoma kind of did. Florida kind of did as well. But every other team Tennessee has faced has allowed Sampson to carry the ball for over 5 yards a play on average. And that would be ideal for Ohio State. Somewhere below 5.5 yards is what we would consider containing, quote unquote, Dylan Sampson. Just keeping him from gashing you while not allowing Nico to have receivers running free down the field in the secondary. Whatever you can do to stop Sampson, do it, because if this game devolves into a quarterback duel, I'd be willing to say Howard wins that matchup straight up, which leads us to our final prediction for this one. And as always, me and Todd will have our separate predictions, one that his gruesome, no good AI algorithm comes up with, and another that my concise, simple American mind conjures up. And I think both of us are on the same or similar pages, at least for this week. I think we both like Tennessee a lot, more than most probably, but they are a better team at home than they are on the road. Todd has Ohio State winning this one at home 28-23, but I like to factor in more humanity into my predictions, unlike that robot Todd. It's going to be cold. Conditions are not going to be ideal for the Volunteers. And most importantly, in our opinion, we think Ryan Day is coaching for his job this postseason, which leads us to take away a field goal from Tennessee's final score and give it to Ohio State, with our final prediction being 31-20. Ohio State moves on to face Oregon for what should have been the third time realistically this year. Instead, they get their rematch in the Rose Bowl versus the Ducks, eliminating Tennessee from the playoffs. And as always, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe. Let us know what you think is going to happen in this one. Be sure to follow us on our social medias for that $100 this Christmas, and we will see you in the next one.